A couple of months ago, I picked up this EZGO TXT. I was a bit disappointed to find out that it was a 36 volt instead of a 48 volt, and I pretty much did a little things to make it run, or roll I should say, a little bit better, and we stuck it out here in the yard. It's really not that pretty. It's covered in rhino lining and overspray. The seat is rotted. I think all the components work. So when Enjoybot reached out to us and said, hey, do you want to try our 36 volt, 100 amp hour lithium battery? I was like, hey, I got just a cart for that. Yep, send it on over. So in this video, we're going to check out the features of this battery, what comes with the kit, and we'll see if we can get that cart working on its own power. Well, naturally, I went overboard. I pulled the body off and got my frame cleaned, everything cleaned. I just reattached the cables to the motor, been tracing. We've got, this one is going to be battery negative, so we've got to make a couple cables. This one is our battery positive that goes over here to the solenoid. I've only removed the charging cables. My tow run is here. And yeah, the battery box is a mess. That's why I threw that board there real quick. I'm ordering one today, and we'll start kind of working on that frame. I've got some of these came off. That's never coming off without a bunch of heat or something, so we'll probably just cut a lot of this out. I'll have to do some new stuff here for the stand. But anyway, onto the battery. So obviously I already got it unboxed. This was the box that the battery came in with this foam surrounding it. The battery was in that bag. This was the battery box. This was the box the charger came in. Charger is up here. It has these types of connections going from the battery to this charging port. So it is a quick connect situation, so that's good. If you didn't want to mount it, it does have feet, so that's nice. The kit came with a DC to DC converter, which is good. Here's our screen. So this is a little bit different than some of the others that I've seen. It's got the clips, so we'd have to just cut an appropriate hole in like a piece of plastic and mount it. We'll have to check that out. Comes with this bus bar thing. We'll get the right word for that. A user's manual, so we'll figure out the wiring here. This is the wire that goes from the battery, from this thing to the terminal. So we'll figure this out as we go. We'll hook that up for sure. Here's our battery. Comes with this user manual. It is a 36 volt, 100 amp hour. So this is out of the box. We are at 39.4, so should be good to go to plug it in and test this up. So let's say we weren't going to replace this floor. You had your battery tray in. Some of these, I wonder if it would fit in the regular. Let's do some measurements. It would not fit in the regular battery tray, so you would have to do some alterations. Again, this is a 98 TXT, but we will do it this way, and I'll probably just ratchet strap it in for now because there are no feet in it. And I mean, it's rotted, but I mean, it just took my weight. By the way, dimensions: handle with handle, 21 wide, pretty much, and then it's, what did I say, 10 and 3/4 wide, basically 21 long. And 9 high. All right, so I guess I could, this is negative. I literally could just put an end on this, I suppose. I don't have to make a whole new cable. And my positive is right here. I could just put a new end on that. Why waste cable, I guess? Because these cables look like crap, Tony? Oh, well, I guess. Cut the ends off at least, right? See what's underneath here. Oh, need something a little more robust. Just going to put some ends on. Save the cables for when I build this thing for real. All right, well, that last clip that I was sharing with you guys pretty much ended that day for a little while. That was May 5th I was doing that, and it is now middle of July. I do have this cart fully running. It runs pretty good. I've done a little bit of work for it. I've changed the brakes. If you watch that first video with it, I kind of halfway did the brakes. We've got brand new brake hardware in this thing. I've got new U-bolts on the rear end, and the battery did get it to fire over. It's got a new ignition, and we made some seats for it. So let me catch you up to speed on where we are with this cart, and we'll get back to finishing this battery install because we still have the little monitor to deal with. I haven't touched that at all. So let me start with the seat. I actually bought this white, cheap, marine grade vinyl for the rack cart that's sitting over here. I was going to do the seats white originally and then decided not to do that. So I already had this. I went out and bought 3/4 inch plywood. We had the foam. This foam is actually off of the cart that we cut in half to make the trailer out of. It was off of the back seat of that. And this foam here, I gotta be honest, I don't even remember where that seat foam came from, but it is from one of the EZGO marathons. That being said though, I had to make some uprights. The ones that came with this cart are broken, so they weren't exactly gonna work, but I used this as a template. This is leftover tubing that I had from building the rack cart, and this goes all the way through. Actually, it's welded down in the bottom here and here and here. This should be enough to do what I needed to do for now, because if I do decide to build this cart, it's getting full seat, back seat, all of that. So there's really no reason for me to invest in new seat uprights or factory seat uprights. The other problem that it does have that I'm going to need to address, this heat diffuser where the controller mounts, I broke it. The bolts were broken off in it, so we're going to need a new one of these. But even used on eBay, they're like $160, so I haven't bought that yet. I did replace the brake hardware, so it's got all new brakes in there. I did not put new chute or drums on it. This was the U-bolts. I grabbed some new U-bolts, so it has new U-bolts. And then when we got this cart, it did not have a key for the ignition, so I went ahead and just bought a new ignition. Again, Amazon, got that in there. I just screwed it. I do have the pins could put this in permanently, but I don't need this in permanently yet. So it has a new ignition. And now everything has been working fine. So when I left you last, I was trying to decide on what I was going to do with these cables. I cut them off, and what I had said was I'm just going to reuse them. Well, I started looking at it a little bit more. This is what was in there, and just the wires kind of look corroded, and it was traveling back. This is sheath that I had cut fresh, so I decided we'll put new cables in there. It wasn't like it was that long. So these are new cables, and then once I hooked all that up, it still didn't run. And what I had found is because I had cut the charger out of it, because the charger cables were also cut in this, and again, please keep in mind, I am not a cart technician. I'm just a guy working in his garage. What I found was it basically was behaving as if the charger was hooked up. This has a shutoff so that if the charger port is in this cart, these TXTs, this switch in here will not allow the cart to power up. So we had to take this connection, and that's all this is doing. It's completing the circuit, and once I threw this wire in, everything fired over and the cart operates as it should. This is the original charging port mounted to the outside, right? You stick your charger in here. This is the cover that's on that. So as you open that up, inside of here, this is called a reed switch. And what happens is when it's hooked up, it disables power. So we see the power actually does run through here. It actually is a shutoff. So sometimes people have a problem with their cart being dead, and it's this switch here, because it acts as if the charger is hooked up, and that is a problem that I had originally. That read switch goes to this wire here, which ran over to here, through here, right? So when I cut all this out or just took this out, the cart itself, the computer in the cart, was reading as if the charger was hooked up, was my problem. So that is why I created that little wire that would have hooked into this, and it just kind of bridges that gap. So that charging port would have been here, so I just made a wire, and that's going straight to positive. The instructions call this a sampler. So I have it just tapped into the frame rail here. I did make another negative battery connection. This is the monitor power cable that goes into the little guy here. This is the cable that's going out to the monitor as well. The one thing I'm a little bit confused as you look at the instructions, it sort of indicates that the charging port, this is the negative for the charger, right? It kind of indicates that it should be here, but it does not fit, and fits perfectly with the bolt for the negative terminal here. So I'm not gonna hog this out and put it on here. I'm gonna stick with the way that they've sent it. So both charging cables are on the battery directly, and I'm just going to consider it that way. You know what? Let's do this. The instructions call this piece a sampler, and it must be wired in parallel. Okay, here we are. The cart worked fine without it, just main positive, main negative. Everything was working, but to use this monitor, you have to install this piece. So got the cord pulled through, just ran it under the body. This, really close up, sorry. This is just a piece of plastic that we cut out. I got these panels off Amazon, and I did cut out a little bit in here. I'm not really willing yet to cut this ledge here, but I kind of need to if I want it to fit completely flush. The monitor is a little bit wider than this opening. Now, regarding the monitor, you want to fully charge your battery, and then after you fully charge the battery, you hold down this upper button for a little while and it will calibrate, and then this shows up. I haven't charged it in a little while. I did calibrate this earlier. My daughters ran the cart around a little bit, and here we are. So I'm at 75%, but you want to fully charge the battery, let the charger kick off, and then hold down this button, and it will calibrate how many more amp hours you have and where you're at. So we're at 75% right now, showing 39.5. This is your output when you're running it. So you'll see this increase and decrease as you ride around. So that's a little bit of what's going on here. Now, the one thing I'll say is when you turn the key on, the light will come on once you start running the cart. So I'm going to touch the gas pedal here, and then that's when it lights up. It does that on its own, and then after you're done running it for a little while, the light does shut back off. But the screen is always displaying what the current voltage is. That does not shut off. So we saw really right there, you saw how long it takes for it to shut back down. These are brightness. So if you don't want it that bright, you can shut it down if it's at night. I have it up on the highest setting, which is 8. Now we're back to 75%. So there's that. We'll leave that. My new ignition. So my last step was the charger. I'm just throwing it in here for now, like this. Again, this entire cart is either going to get sold as a project cart, or I'm going to blow it all apart and build it. I might get one of those no-co things for here, but 99% of the time when I go to charge it, I'm pulling my charging port down from the attic, or not from the attic, from the ceiling, and I've got a retractable cord. So a lot of times I do it with this thing. So anyway, plug that in, charger on, and off it goes. And it'll sit here for a little while. There isn't anything on the app or on the screen that indicates when it will be done. But probably a couple hours to go from 75% to 100%. All right, so before I go, briefly, quick story. This battery does have a low voltage dormancy shutdown, and that is now in the instructions, which I didn't read prior to finding this out. Very quick story. It was sitting out back for a while in my other shed. It got cold one night. It does have a low temp monitor as well, so I think it used some of that up and shut itself off. And in the instructions, you find that all you have to do to wake it back up is hit this button here on the monitor, and it will wake the battery back up. At the time, I did not have this hooked up. I ended up downloading the app. As soon as the app connected to the battery, it woke right back up. So it does have a low voltage, low use shutdown situation. All right, so some pros and cons. Pros are it's $955 as of right now, July 2025. So it is a budget-minded 36 volt, 100 amp hour battery, but it comes with a charger. It comes with the 36 volt to 12 volt reducer, and it comes with a little monitor. The little side thing, again, they call a sampler, so you have to use that. If I wanted to install the voltage reducer, you would put the positive into the other side of that positive area on the sampler, and then the negative terminal you would put on the sampler as well as it goes to the card itself. That is how they'd like you to wire that. So again, it is charging. Pros, those are the pros. Really, the price point, it is doing what I need it to do. We go out with these carts for a little while, around the block, down to a friend's house, and back. They're not out for a long period of time. So if that's what you're using your cart for, this is a budget-minded way to do it. These Amazon batteries that I'm running in these carts, we'll probably do a video about them at the end of the year to just kind of go over what happened with them as we went through the year. But so far, so good. Again, it does come with some stickers. It has the instructions. So I'm not going to go over all of the little things. You can read those things in the description of the battery itself. So we do have some more work to do on this cart. Maybe we're just going to flip it. We'll see. Got another video to do on this guy coming up, so stay tuned for that. Like and subscribe, and we appreciate you watching. I'll catch you on the next one. So we're all back together in here, but Anna was saying goodbye on the end of that video. And this is Anna's new favorite cart. Why is that?
I feel like I'm in an interview.
You are in an interview. I'm interviewing you.
I don't know. She's cute.
She's cute? We named it Boss Hog because it's just white. It's a white convertible with white seats. So.
And we gotta keep the old movies going. This is Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, that's right. We're still. She wants a better name for that one. But
Rat Rod's not good.
She doesn't like Rat Rod. She doesn't like Rat Cart. So anyway, if you got a name for it, let me know.
Put it in the comments.
Oh my God, you're so corny. Why are you so embarrassed? Goodbye.